There we go. Marie, good to see you as always. Val, buying space, good to see you. Hey, Jennifer, Jill, and Ansley. Buddy's actually laying on my bed. He's got a electric blanket I put on the bed for him. Because it is cold. It is very cold out there. It's still minus 31 or so. So, lost the cord to your electric blanket. Yeah, that wouldn't happen here. So I've got one on the bed. It's underneath my flat sheet or the fitted sheet, I guess. But I put one on top of the bed for Buddy. So he's been hanging out in my bedroom for a week or so. Yeah, right. That's crazy. They're even forecasting wind chill tonight or tomorrow night, minus 54 Celsius. I guess it doesn't matter if I say Celsius, it's minus 54 wherever you are. Kayev, good to see you, man. I am happy, Jill. I feel great. So we'll actually get right into it. What I did when I did the premiere of this first episode, my chat feed froze, and I wasn't able to respond what satisfied me. So I figured I'd just do a quick live, and I'll make it nice and short. Um, so you guys can, it'd be easier to go back and look at it. So I probably won't keep you for hopefully much more than half an hour. Hey, Kimmy. But, and I do have a weigh-in that I'm almost excited to share with you. But one of the things that I've been doing, I think almost everybody who has researched the ketogenic diet has come across the Bulletproof brand, and more specifically Bulletproof coffee. And that's one of the biggest things that I have been doing is I've been replacing breakfast with a version of Bulletproof coffee. Now, this coffee tends to keep me satisfied well into the afternoon. And today I actually had a late coffee. It was right around 10:30, and I sipped on it till about 11:30. And my typical first meal of the day is around 1 or 2. I'm not even going to have that meal. I'm not hungry whatsoever. Val Bulletproof coffee is pretty well coffee with a whole bunch of added fat to it, and it's actually very satisfying. But I'll go through my recipe for it. The recipe that my nutritional therapy practitioner, or NTP, has designed. Um, and what it basically does is when you're on the ketogenic diet, you're basically turning your body from a sugar and carbs burner to a fat burner. And fat is a much more satisfying fuel. It's longer lasting, and your brain works phenomenally better on it. Because when you burn fat for fuel, your liver converts the fat to ketones, and your brain absolutely loves ketones. So we'll just get right into it. I got some notes here too, all professional and stuff. Look at this. Okay. Well, you just running through the recipe. You got your coffee, of course. I'll throw in. Now, keep in mind, my coffees are in a glass. I don't use a little bitty mug. So I probably drink, they're probably 16, 18-ounce coffees. And I'll normally have one in a day. I might have a second. So you got your coffee. I'll throw in 2 tablespoons of goat milk ghee, and I'm going to go through each of these, just like the description says in the video. I'm basically going to tell you the recipe, and I'm going to go through it again and tell you why, or what it is, and why I'm putting it in. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in. And I'll try to answer the questions best I can at the end, because we're going to go through this section, and then I'm going to tell you what I weigh as of this morning. So it's 2 tablespoons of goat milk ghee. I got 2 tablespoons of brain octane oil, it's called. I throw in a tablespoon, or a little less than a tablespoon, of collagen protein powder. 1 teaspoon of raw cacao powder for the taste, but I've actually been experimenting with some mushroom hot chocolate with cordyceps in it, and I absolutely love that. I'll put in 1 or 2 capfuls of Light Balance. I like to have 2 capfuls per day, so if I'm only going to have 1 coffee that day, I'm going to put in 2 capfuls. And they're just little wee things, the caps, of Light Balance. 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. And I'll put in 1 or 2 drops of vitamin D and K emulsion, which is basically liquid. It's those vitamins in concentrated liquid form. So we'll just break down all the ingredients that I just ran through you. Now, ghee, for those of you who don't know, ghee is basically a form of highly clarified butter. They basically melt the butter down, and then they take out the milk solids. So your ghee is mostly fat with no lactose. And of course, lactose, once you ingest it, it converts to sugar. Now, brain octane oil, and the ghee that I use, actually, I'll just go back to that. Sorry. The ghee that I use is actually from a company called Mount Capra. It's from Washington, and it comes from pastured goats. They are pastured year-round, so they eat grass. And the best quality food that you can eat, as far as meats or fats, will come from an animal that eats its natural diet. So if it's a grazing animal that you're eating, goat, cows, they're going to be pastured. They're going to eat grass mostly. Now, pigs, their natural diet would be rooting through the ground. We got Chris, Thrift BCQ. Hello, hello. Thrifted Flipper, your best you. Good to see ya. Hey, Tracy. Who's Allison? Is that your best you? You only got to tell me once. No, your best you is Candace. Thrifted Flipper. Okay. Cool, cool. Nice to meet you. Now, the reason I use goat milk ghee is actually because goat's milk is easier digested by the human body than cow's milk. So that's why I go to that that route. And the stuff being made in the States, I am paying damn near double the price to get it up to me. So but it's worth it. It's entirely worth it. And you guys in the States, you could probably get it for a song and dance. So moving on, brain octane oil. Brain octane oil is basically MCT oil, medium chain triglycerides, coconut oil. And traditional, like normal MCT oil is C6, C8, and C10, which is basically the length of chain. Now, brain octane oil is pure C8. There's one more refining step for it, bringing it to pure C8. It has absolutely no smell, very, very little taste. And C8 oil is digested, without using bile. You don't need to produce bile to digest it. So it goes into your small intestines, goes to your liver, gets converted to your ketones, and then your brain absolutely loves that. That's why they call it brain octane oil. And when I drink bulletproof coffee, I can actually feel it in my head. It's quite a bit lighter. Now the collagen protein, the stuff I use is from Bulletproof brand, and it's hydrolyzed protein powder. And it's used basically to strengthen the joints, making them more resilient to injury, thereby reducing joint pain as well. And it also boosts cartilage density, making your joints more flexible. It also helps with makes your skin healthy and stuff. It's great. Now the raw cocoa powder, I call it cocoa powder because I just don't like the word cacao. It's almost more difficult to say. But it's extremely high in antioxidants. It helps with premature aging. It's a very good source of magnesium, potassium, iron, and calcium. It reduces blood pressure and insulin resistance, which insulin resistance, as you know, is your type 2 diabetes, or metabolic syndrome, it's also called. It improves learning and memory. But what I have been trying lately is instead of the raw cacao powder, I have been putting in some mushroom hot chocolate with cordyceps. Cordyceps gives you energy. Saffron oil, never heard of it. Well, I've heard of it, but I've never used it. Cordyceps gives you one hell of a boost of energy, and it's a powerful immune booster as well. Moving down the recipe list, you got your light balance. Now, light balance is basically a really concentrated electrolyte solution. It's magnesium, potassium, and sodium. Now, think of this one little teeny capful, which is actually, this is a photo battery. So if I had turned that into a container, it'd be a little less than that. One capful contains more electrolyte solution than 10 Gatorades. Now, one serving of Gatorade, at least I'm going by the original Gatorade, it has 35 milligrams of potassium. Light Balance provides 350 milligrams of potassium. That's 10 times, which is about 10% of your body's daily requirement of potassium. Potassium and magnesium are both important for brain, nerves, heart, blood sugar levels, and your muscles. And sodium helps maintain your balance of water in and around your cells. It helps with proper muscle and nerve function and stabilizes blood pressure levels. If you drank 10 Gatorades, it would give you over 1,600 milligrams of sodium. And with that is a ton of sugar, an absolute ton of sugar. There's way too much sodium and sugar, and it has no magnesium in it. Do you eat bananas? Yep. Love bananas. Cinnamon. Cinnamon, as studies have shown, it's natural anti-inflammatory, and some studies have shown that it helps lower blood sugar. Go down to the vitamin D and K. I'm going through this list quick. Vitamin D and K, and let's face it, if you're in the northern hemisphere, especially through the winter, you do not get enough sunlight to get proper amounts of vitamin D. And on vitamin D and K, they need to be balanced, and I'll go into that a little bit. But especially with me, I haven't seen sun. Oh, the sun is shining today. Oh, fancy that. See, I haven't seen sunshine for almost a week myself. But even then, like the sun for me does not get intense enough to produce vitamin D. Even if I stood outside naked, which is not going to happen. I don't care how drunk I am. It's way too cold. Now, vitamin D and K are both fat-soluble vitamins, and they both play a central role in calcium metabolism. Vitamin D promotes the production of vitamin K-dependent proteins, which require vitamin K for carboxylation in order to function properly. It basically, what it does is it tells the body, vitamin D with vitamin K tells the body where to put the calcium. If those levels are off, your body's going to put calcium wherever it feels. And as you may know, one of the most dangerous places that it's going to put that calcium is in your arteries, like on your artery linings. And I'm going to kind of expand on, I'm going to zero in on the types of vitamins. We're talking about vitamin D3 and K2, okay? Now, D3 works in the intestinal tract by increasing the ion permeability in your intestines. As a cofactor, vitamin K2 activates an important protein called matrix GLA. On this important protein that prevents vascular calcification, okay, and like calcifying your arteries. That is, it keeps calcium from depositing in soft tissues, organs, and blood vessels. So that's what I put in my coffee and why. Now, the most exciting part, and get your questions because I want to answer some questions, man. Because this is exciting. I absolutely love this stuff. What do I weigh? Well, when I weigh myself, it is a fasting weight, meaning I have a good night's sleep. And when I wake up in the morning, that's what I weigh. Okay. So I'm going to weigh myself. And this is because your weight can fluctuate up to 5 to 7 pounds either way in a day, like what you're eating, your activity level, drinking in lots of water. Drinking water, that's actually very important on a ketogenic diet. One of the things to prevent the keto flu. If either of you are kind of following along with me in your own weight control program, I will actually talk about the keto flu in my next episode. That would be the February 1st episode. I'll just basically be talking about that and what causes it, how to get over it. But staying hydrated is very important on the ketogenic diet. I'll actually say this right now. When your body is in ketosis and you're burning fat for your energy, especially your stored fat, you're going to be dumping a ton of water. And that's what being fat is. It's basically water retention. Because for every molecule of carbohydrate that you bring in, you need to also bring in 3 molecules of water to deal with that. And when you're losing a whole bunch of weight, you're basically burning glycogen, which is your body's stored form of carbohydrates. You're going to be dumping that water as well. So you got to be taking in lots of water as well. Water. We hate it. So, January 1st, I was 340 pounds. My scale does decimals, but I'm not worried about decimals. January 15th, and I already have it written down here, 2 weeks, I am at 335. And that is, folks, basically, like I said at the first episode that I was getting rid of grains and sugars. I am already grain free. So all I did was get rid of added sugars. And that is the absolute, that just shows how powerful sugar is on your body. Like how difficult it is. Yeah, it's like some of you know, like it's cold as all hell outside. I haven't been exercising one bit. So I will get to some questions because I'm sure some of you have some questions. Yeah, saffron oil. Let's look it up. Why not? I figure I'll keep this under right around 30 minutes. Saffron oil helps fight depression and anxiety. Reverse the symptoms of insomnia. I have a 0 CFM fan. That's what I use to help me get to sleep. A lot of times, there have been quite a few times, especially in this last week. To tell you the truth, I didn't expect to lose any weight in this first 2 weeks. That 5 pounds that I've showed you, that's that's a pretty good. That's a pleasant surprise. Um, but I have an app on my iPhone, on my iPad, that is a fan. I think it's called Sleep Fan. But I'll put it on low. You can set the speed of your fan. I put it on low, and then I set the sleep timer to 1 hour, and I never ever hear that fan turn off. And there are times, actually, in this past week especially, that I have been having a hard time getting to sleep because I have too much energy. So I've been cleaning house here and there, uh, whatever, gaming out on the Xbox. So as far as getting to sleep, and which is what it looks like saffron oil is used for. Oh, the sound of the dryer. Yes, absolutely. There are times where I'll do laundry just before I go to bed, just so I can turn that dryer on and then hit the sack. And anxiety, the only anxiety I have is really if whether or not my watchers buy something. eBay watchers, not you guys, because you guys are all awesome. D2 and K. What are foods that have D2 and K naturally in them? I don't know. Bananas have your potassium. See, as far as foods, there's not a lot. I mean, you might have some salmon, sardines. I'm still trying to get used to sardines. I'm still trying it out, mixing with tuna, throwing in a crap ton of hot sauce. Your cod liver oils. I instead of taking cod liver oil, I'm a fan of the nutrient dense food. So just get yourself some cod livers, some wild caught cod livers. Chop them up, throw them in a tuna salad. You get some good vitamins that way. Canned tuna, yeah, I go through a lot of canned tuna. Oysters, shrimp, egg yolks, mushrooms. I am looking this up for you guys because you never know. Some of your questions might teach me something as well because I'm no expert. I'm just going through this. Have you ever seen the movie Lorenzo's Oil? Nope. Never heard of that. Now, Chris, Thrift BCQ, says I've been using stevia or erythritol as sugar substitutes. Is it okay to use these? Chris, just out of curiosity, what are you using them for? Is it in your coffee? Erythritol is probably better than stevia. I've tried some honey. If you can get a hold of raw, unpasteurized, local honey, that would be okay. But erythritol, if you need to have sugar, erythritol is probably your best bet. Monk fruit is good. D, welcome. Syrian Refugee Challenge. Is that where you basically starve yourself and then eat healthy food that you wouldn't otherwise eat. I've tried monk fruit. I have a friend in town here who does a lot of pickling, and she, through experimentation, she'll pickle grapes, but she'll sweeten them. She'll actually, in the brine, she'll use what is it, apple cider vinegar and monk fruit as a sweetener, and they're pretty good. Yeah, Val, even agave nectar is much better than really your commercial sugars. Oh, live on the same rations as a refugee does. Sure. Yeah. I I'm actually at the point where I don't get those cravings anymore, and I'm actually quite surprised at how quick my cravings for sugar disappeared. I can walk down the chocolate bar aisle, and if you go to Walmart, they have an absolutely huge chocolate bar section. I can walk down that section and not think twice. I I'm at the point in my diet where if it comes to eating garbage for sustenance, and by garbage I mean your run of the mill traditional North American diet, I would much rather go without. Even I'll have a little snack. I don't have any here, but I have little beef sticks. I think the brand name is Paleo Valley, but have they use a fermentation process for their preservatives. So it gives it kind of that vinegary taste. But I'll have one of them, and I'll have it's called an F-bomb, which is basically a little pouch. I think it has 2 or 3 ounces of macadamia nut butter. I'll have that in a beef stick, and I'm good for a couple hours. And that little pouch, if I remember, I'll have to get some for the next episode and show you guys. But those couple ounces, I really think they're 3.5 ounces. But there's 200 or 300 calories in that little bit. Chocolate bar aisle. Well, there's the chocolate bar aisle, the chip aisle, the cereal aisle. God, what a mess that is. Have you ever tried 100% cacao chocolate? Yes. And I don't like it. But the higher percentage dark chocolate you can get, the more benefits. Of course, there's less sugar in it, right? I did try some dark chocolate that was salted with sea salt. That's another thing. I got rid of table sugar, and I'm using table sugar. I got rid of table salt, and I am now using pink Himalayan salt. But I tried a salted chocolate bar from Lindt, and it was quite good. I'm not a fan of dark chocolate, really. When I was completely off sugar, walking through the candy aisle, it would make me gag. The smell was so strong. So, are you still off sugar, D? Because I have found everything tastes sweeter regardless, now that I am not taking in a ridiculous amount of sugar. I like even a lot of fruits. An apple, like I can't really stand an apple anymore because they're just way too sweet. Like general fruits have been engineered to be so sweet over the years, which is good. I mean, I'll take like for a dessert, I'll take some frozen berries, like some frozen strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, and then I'll drizzle some heavy cream over top of them. That'll be my ice cream because the berries will actually freeze the cream. Ansley. Yeah, key lime. That salted chocolate bar that I had, it was from Lint. Redmond's Real Salt. I will check that out. I saw a grill brick in it's our Canadian Tire in Canada. It was basically a solid block of sea salt. And you just plop that down on your grill and cook on it. And if it wasn't so expensive, I would have bought the damn thing. Because I just imagine, geez, cooking a steak on that would be absolutely delicious. And that's another thing. Your like in the meat section, you look at like your extra lean ground beef, your leaner cuts of steak and pork, they're the most expensive. So you go to the fattier cuts, you're getting a much better fuel. It's healthier for you, and it's cheaper. I'm gonna check that out right now, just in case anyone else is curious. Redmond's Real Salt. Check that out right now, and then we'll actually sign off because I've been going a little longer than I wanted to be. It is the only brand of sea salt harvested from an ancient pristine ocean near Redmond, Utah. We bring it to you exactly as nature created it. Huh. Interesting. Get a picture of that. Okay. I'll either look for it in the stores or it's on well.ca. Well.ca is a company I go to for a lot of my health stuff in Canada because they have free shipping after like $35 or something like that, which is always nice. In Canada, when you don't have to pay for shipping, that's always a bonus, right? But I'll absolutely check that out. There's an ocean in Utah. I I thought of that too. You know, An ancient, pristine ocean. And it's ancient too. It's always been there, apparently. Realsalt.com. It's America's only pink salt, mined in Utah since 1958. Wow. That's something else. Oh, it's an all-natural sea salt taken from an ancient seabed in central Utah. It's the remnant of an ancient inland sea, probably part of what they call the Sundance Sea, which places the deposit within the Jurassic period. Nice. Close to Redmond, Utah, hence the name. 300 feet below the surface. That's really interesting. Marie cannot stand fat on meat or skin on chicken. I have members of my family that cut the fat off their steak. They strip the skin off the chicken, and to me, it breaks my heart. Um, Especially with it being someone like people I care about, right? Because really it goes back to Ansel Keys, and on one of my episodes, I'm going to touch on his studies, but he's basically been killing people since 1952. Pesky chicken. See, I'll broil it until it gets crispy and yummy. But yeah, I'll touch on Ansel Keys' studies probably next time. Is basically we've been lied to for so long that fat is bad, carbs are good, and it's just not the case. It really isn't. Like if you go up to the Arctic, and it's a little closer for me than most of you guys, they actually will give you whale blubber, a little block of pure whale blubber. And you nibble on that, and that gives you such long-term energy. Like a little block would last you quite a while. Reheated meat? No, no. With me, if there's leftover meat, I got to do something else with it. Now, the only grain that I really eat, and I'll be level with y'all, is rice, white rice, because it's mostly starch, no gluten. So I'll put it in that, or I'll put it mix it up. Like I'll try to make a hash out of it if it's a ground beef, with some potato and onion. But especially a cold steak, it's got to be a fresh steak. But I'm already going as quite a bit longer than I wanted to, so I am going to go ahead and sign off now. And for any of you who, like I've said, any of you at any time wanted to check out the momentum board, it's always available. It's just behind my shoulder right there. If you wanted to see it. Nothing exciting so far. It's only 5 pounds in 2 weeks. It will get, that number will, the rate will get higher. Absolutely guaranteed. I'm so excited. Thank you all for hanging out. Does a fat and hot dogs count? Yeah, if you take out the bun, that bun will kill you. Killer buns. Get some chicken. Yeah, have a good day, guys, and I'll see you around in chats and other live streams for sure. Take care. Stay healthy.